I know ads will work, but they have never worked for me. But I don't want to give up on it. And I want to give this a shot. But this time, I want to learn how to do this myself. Will you teach me?
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Accidental SEO podcast. I am Nada Salvatore, your host. And today I have Allison Harpo-Cully with me, and we're going to talk ads, which is not necessarily my favorite subject, but definitely something we need to be talking about. So I invited Allison to chat with me because she's been so kind to help me through some ads with the summit that I just hosted. And I wanted to bring her here to just answer some questions that I know other people might have out there. You might not have the chance to ask. So welcome, Allison.
Oh, thank you, Nada. It is always so much fun to talk with you. And you know, I get that reaction all the time about ads. So I hope that this is a fun conversation and I can give a little bit of a different spin on ads because I always see it. I say ads and people's eyes just completely glaze over, which is understandable.
Yes, absolutely. So let's just start with, tell us about how did you end up being the ads girl? What was the life before like, and how did you end up in what you're doing today? And then just tell us a little bit of who you serve and kind of services you offer right now.
Yeah, great question. Well, I think that probably goes back to my journey with entrepreneurship. So I started my business right out of college. So I graduated and fell into it accidentally, did not plan on being an entrepreneur. And I started with doing like content writing for websites and blogs. And I also did social media management. But the problem I kept running into was my clients would ask me, what's the ROI? And I couldn't answer that for them. So I don't know. I'm just producing this content for you, or I'm posting these social posts for you, but I can't actually measure how that's affecting the business. So anyways, I decided that I needed to find someone who was doing what I was doing. I didn't even know if what I was doing was like a thing, a career, until I found an online community. So I joined Rachel Peterson's Social Click. And she's really the one that propelled me in this world. And so I'm forever grateful for her. But she's the one that introduced me to ads as well. And I saw that she was running ads. And I thought, that is cool. She is able to give hard numbers to her clients and tell them the actual impact she's making on their businesses. I want to do that. So that's when I decided, you know what, I'm gonna go hard and I'm gonna learn everything that I can about ads, and I'm going to go on that trajectory. It took a little bit to get there to actually form my business totally into an ad agency. And I did that about 3 years ago. That's when I went all in and said, I just want to run ads and I just want to teach ads.
I love that. It's always good to have seen somebody who does it well, get inspired and be like, okay, I think I can do this. Let me learn as much as I can and then get started. So it's a good journey to have. I wanted to start somewhere real. Like, I have tried ads, and I'm sure you hear that from people, and not just like, oh, one time and it didn't work out. I've tried so I run 6 different businesses. I've tried for one of my businesses very seriously, spending thousands and thousands of dollars that didn't turn out to give us any return on investment. And I've tried to my other businesses to a smaller degree with a smaller budget, more controlled, and still didn't really see anything coming back. And yet, I do believe that they work. I see them work for other people. I still have a positive kind of mindset about ads. I just haven't had them work for me. And I watch other people run them, see good results. So what is actually sometimes going on? What have you seen often going on when people come to you and say, ads don't work for me? Like, I've tried and it didn't work. What are some of the things behind the scenes that we might not be seeing?
Almost always, there's a couple of things that are associated with that. That I hear this all the time, Nada. So not rare at all for me to hear the exact same words that you said. A lot of it has to do with the expectations not being aligned to what the ad was designed to do. So if you set up the wrong type of ad in let's say, for example, you set up a reach ad, which is if you're boosting a post, that's what you would be doing. You do that with the expectation to get sales, you're not going to get sales because that's not what you're telling Meta to do. You're telling Meta you want more eyeballs on your ads. And so that's typically where I see things go wrong. Now, you may be referring more to the agency side of things. And I hear this a lot too with agencies. Why do ads typically not produce profit from agencies? Well, I think there's a lot of things. First, I think that a lot of times clients aren't getting the attention that they really need. I don't think that the strategy is set up correctly. not aligned with what the client expectation is. And a lot of times agencies like to push, vanity metrics like, oh, well, we're reaching this many people, or you're getting this many people to actually see your ad, which it sounds good, but it's not producing results. I think the account managers are told to do that behind agencies. And I think too, they're very pulled in lots of directions. They have a lot of clients that they're managing. And so it's hard for them to actually be able to put the effort that's needed for each individual client into the effort. So setup is a lot of it, and why you may not produce ads. That's a huge one. And also making sure you're choosing the right ad with the expectation of the result that you want to see.
So let's talk through so people know the difference. What are the main types of ad that people can run?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of them, but the main ones would be like a reach ad if you want to just get eyeballs on your ads. You can also run video view ads if you want to get people to actually watch the reels that you're creating and posting on social. You can run lead generation ads. So you can push people through a form that Meta offers, or you can send them to your website and have them go through a form and produce a lead for you. So you get someone's contacting them on your email list. And then also you can run what I would say is probably the holy grail ad that everybody wants to run, which is the sales conversion ad. So those are the ads that actually generate purchases. In between, there's engagement ads if you want to get more like likes, shares, comments on posts or on your ad specifically. There are so many different ways that you can do it. And that's where a lot of people have a misunderstanding with ads, because they think, I'm going to run ads just to generate sales, which is great. And absolutely, that's what you want to do. But you can use these other ad objectives to actually get to the sell. And you can use those ad objectives to get to the sell for a better cost, because it can get really costly if you run just purchase ads.
Can you give us an example of how can you kind of work around that?
Yes. Okay. So this is probably like my signature method of running ads, and the way that I personally do it for myself, and I love to teach business owners to do it. So what I love to tell people to do is, well, first up, period, go install the Pixel. If you don't know what the Pixel is, it's just a little piece of code that Meta is going to give you completely for free. You install it on your website. And when you do this, it's going to track that website traffic and the actions that people take on your website. And I always tell business owners, even if you're not running ads right now, go ahead and go install it, because that can be tracking for you. And it's super simple to do. So start there. But then what I'd recommend doing is, go ahead and build up a social presence. You do need an audience built up. Do you have to have an audience built before running ads? No, but if you want to see return and faster return, it is better to go ahead and build your audience organically. So have an email list being built up, have a social presence built up, because ads are just going to accelerate everything that you're doing. They're not going to fix anything that's broken, and they're not going to be that, secret magic bullet that you're seeking, but they will accelerate everything. That being said, start with a really solid presence. And then what I love to do with the first ad to run is called a video view ad. So these are the ads that you're going to run to get people to watch the reels that you are posting on social. Because I don't know about you, Nada, but it takes me forever to create reels. It is time consuming. It's an effort. And so I hate it when I post a reel and then it just dies within, 24 hours or whatever the algorithm wants to do. So instead, what you can do is that you can put ad spin behind those reels and then get people to actually watch them. And so the benefit that you're getting is twofold. You're going to be raising brand awareness to people who don't know you at all, but then you're also going to be nurturing an audience who does know that you exist, right? And moving them closer to becoming a lead and then a customer. And they're really cost-effective ads too. So start there. Highly recommend those as a beginning foundation ad. From there, then you want to grow your email list, because if you can grow your email list and get people there, that's incredibly valuable. So you can run lead generation ads. If I was to pick one ad, the only one ad that I could ever run, it would be a lead generation ad. They are so great. They're so powerful. And they're incredibly cost effective, because you can get people on your email list by sending them to a freebie or a lead magnet, and that can be working for you in the background, which is great. I run these all the time. So that's the next type of ad that I recommend running is, let's build your email list with the right people by sending them to a freebie or a lead magnet with those lead generation ads. And then the next step up is that you want to sell to either one or many. It just depends on how your business is situated. in design. So if you sell high ticket and you want to get people on sales calls, I recommend running lead generation ads to a book a call form that you can get people to fill out. So obviously you're going to be paying more than you would to get somebody on your email list because it's higher value, but that can really help tremendously. Or if you're somebody who sells to many, I recommend running ads, lead generation ads that get people to go and register for your live trainings or go and register for your live challenges, however you're selling to people. And that's, if you do it, those three types of ads, you'll be successful.
Thanks for explaining all that to us. Do you feel like there's a difference on sending people to a meta form versus sending people to your own form? Have you seen anything there?
I have. So I'm a little biased here too, because I've not had the best experience with the meta forms. Now, I will say, I think they've improved it with the rollout of Andromeda and all the AI. My perspective is that when I've done this in the past, there's actually not enough barriers to pre-qualify a lead. And so what happens is that you do get a lot of leads and for a really good cost through those instant forms. But because it's so easy for someone to put their information in, sometimes they're not serious. Or sometimes, that information will auto-generate in there. All they have to click on it, and then it'll auto-populate. So they don't even know what they're signing up for. So I personally have gotten the best results and like to teach sending people from a Facebook ad to a landing page where they then can actually go through the process. Because you need a little bit of friction to make sure that you're getting quality people, right? Because you don't want to be, getting people as leads that are just not good fits. That's not useful for anybody. So,
yeah, I like that. So if you're looking for actually quality over quantity, send them to your own form through the process of selection. So I like that. Have you tried using AI in your coaching business and thought, okay, this is helpful, but why does it still sound so generic? That is exactly why I created Claude for Coaches. Because the problem usually isn't that AI doesn't work. The problem is that most coaches are using it without training it on their voice, their offer, their clients, their standards, and the way the business actually runs. So I'm hosting a free live workshop where I'm going to show you the difference between using Claude with random prompts and actually training it to support the back end of your coaching business. We'll look at what generic output looks like versus what happens when Claude understands your business, your content, your clients, and the way you think. If you want AI to help you create beautiful content, client resources, offer ideas, sales copy, and more, without everything sounding bland or off-brand, this is a workshop I would start with. Register at the link below, and I'll see you on July 29th. So there's a version of I'm not ready for ads that is fear talking, right? And there's a version that is actually true. So can you tell the difference of who's actually not ready for ads yet and who is actually just scared?
Yes, I can. Okay, so there's no ideal time to start ads. I will start by saying that. But if you really want to be prepared, make sure that your funnel is all built out. You want to make sure that the customer journey is ironed out, you've tested it, and there's no bottlenecks. But also, you want to go ahead and have an online presence. So make sure that you're posting consistently on social media. And also test your offers. Make sure that they're desirable offers. If you do all of that, build your audience, test your offers, make sure you have the right infrastructure, your funnel is set up, that is the ideal time to run ads, because truly that's what ads are, as an amplifier. I really do think that this is the most misconceived notion when it comes to ads, is people want to use them as the magic bullet, the thing that's going to save their business. But if all of that isn't set up correctly, your ads aren't going to work for you. They're only going to magnify what's not working for you. Set yourself up for success first by having all that ready. And then at that point, you can run ads. And I'll tell you, Nada, that's my favorite type of business owner to work with and especially teach to run ads. So when they're like, hey, Allison, I am tapped out. I feel like I am using all my energy to post on social. I'm doing everything that I can, but my growth is stagnant and I don't know what else to do. I feel like I really have exhausted myself and I need the next thing. That's actually a perfect place to be to run ads, because that is the next thing for you if you can prove it's all working.
Yeah, absolutely. I like that. So, a lot of the people in our audience are very successful business owners. They're making money. Their business is good, but they're probably getting to that stuck point where they have tried all the things and everything that brought them up to this point is no longer working, right? So they now need to start thinking of what else can I do that I haven't done yet to move to the next level. So that's a great way to put that.
Yeah. And here's what I will say about ads too, because like I said, I hear this every day of business owners saying, I want to run ads, but I'm really scared to. I don't want to burn through money. I don't want this to not work for me. They will always work for you, but you do have to set them up correctly and you have to use them correctly. And that's often what goes awry when people tell me that things didn't work for them. And I can usually figure it out pretty quickly after talking to them or at least seeing their ads dashboard or, figuring out what their data is showing them.
Yeah. Would you say that that's the one thing that most like coaching service providers are doing wrong, basically, when they say, yeah, it didn't work for me?
Yeah. So sometimes I can tell pretty fast if I check their website and they don't have a pixel installed. Because if there's no pixel and you're running ads, then what's happening is you're only reaching people one time. Well, as we know, it takes a lot of touch points to turn someone from actually knowing what you do to maybe liking you, trusting you, and then actually becoming a lead and a customer. So that's really important to go on that trajectory and have that. So that's the first thing I always check. If they do have a pixel, then what I like to see, I will ask them, what was your ultimate goal with ads? And then I'll look to see in their ad dashboard what kind of ads they were running. And that's also a clear indicator. 9 times out of 10, they were not running the right objective for the result that they wanted to achieve. And the third thing I sometimes will see is that people jump straight into purchase ads. So they just want to drive traffic straight to their sales page. Here's what I will say about that. It is possible to get a sell that way. It is very hard and it's very expensive to get a sell that way. Unless you just have a fantastic, big, nurtured audience that is ready to buy and all you need to do is put a message in front of them. I've seen it happen, but it is rare. So you really need to take one step back first. And that's why I tell people you need to be selling to either one, get people on book calls, use ads to get people on book calls, or many. Use ads to get registrations for a live training or a live challenge that you're going to give to sell them. And if you do it that way, it really does work a lot better.
Yeah. So I like that you mentioned audience. So let's talk about that a little bit. Can ads work without a big audience or a very established like brand recognition, or does that matter more than people really admit when it comes to ads?
No, 100%. They can work really well with a small audience, actually. And that comes down to just how well nurtured your audience is. Because, think of it this way, if a business owner has really developed a really strong audience of the right people, they've nurtured them, but they actually haven't presented like a way to buy from them yet. And then they put ads in front of them that's like, hey, I'm going to be giving a live training on this subject. The odds are that audience is going to jump on that, right? And so they should have a really high conversion rate at that point, if that's the first time that they're seeing any messaging like that in front of them. So yeah, I do not find the audience size matters as much as a lot of people think that it does. It's more important that you have created an audience of the right people and that you're giving that good data to Meta, because Meta is going to look at that data to be able to find more people.
You have somewhere on your website, you talked a little bit about going from a 55K to 170K in a single launch. What was actually different about that situation versus a launch that would have flopped with ads behind it?
Good question. Okay. And here's the thing about that business owner. She had worked with an agency before and they didn't get results, right? And when she came to me, she's like, Allison, she said literally the same thing that you told me, Donna. I know ads will work, but they have never worked for me. But I don't want to give up on it. And I want to give this a shot. But this time I want to learn how to do this myself. Will you teach me? I said, yes. So what I had her do is she's really good at launching. She's excellent on her live trainings. So I told her, I said, okay, I want you just to go through this launch, because she had one coming up, a few weeks after we had first started talking. So it's like, I'm going to put this ad strategy together and I'm going to watch this launch. So I did, and I gathered data from watching her go through that launch. And then I constructed her ad strategy based on that. And that was in April. And that's when she made about 55 grand. And she told me, she's like, I can't get past that. Like, that is my cap. It doesn't matter how many times I do this or how hard I work at this. I can't seem to exceed that. So I looked at everything and I said, okay, well, you're missing some pieces here in your strategy. So we just need to make sure that you're testing some audiences. We need to make sure that you've got lots of different variety of creative, and we need to make sure that you're just capturing your entire audience, because she had a really good audience built up. So there was no problem there. So I just did that. And then we launched her ads 7 days before she gave her next live training, which was in July. And and from that, it worked incredibly well. So I just got her more leads of the right people, more registrations from those ads. So she had more people attending her webinar than she had previously. That's what, converted them ultimately. And she made 6 figures and continues to do that to this day.
So she was running ads on that first like 55K launch, just not targeting things properly.
Yeah, she was, but I take a step back on that. When she was working with the agency, like the previous fall, they were testing out like a challenge. They changed up her funnel. And I think that was a lot of it. And so it wasn't a fit for her. And that's what I will say too, is that, again, ads amplify. So, if you're good at something, like don't recreate it. Just go ahead and continue what you're doing. You probably just need more numbers. And that's the conversation I had with her. Is she's like, my webinars work really well. I said, great, give a webinar, keep doing that. Don't change anything about what you're doing. There's no problem with you selling. Her issue truly was she just wasn't getting enough registrations. So she needed more good people registering so that she could hit the number that she wanted to. It was all a numbers game, and it is all a numbers game with ads.
Yeah, absolutely. So if someone is scaling mostly through referrals and word of mouth right now, what is actually the case for adding ads into that mix? And, what is an honest case against it? Maybe there's somebody out there that you're like, you should just keep doing things the way you're doing. Maybe ads are not the best thing for you. So let's give those 2 examples.
Well, one word would define that, if it's a good fit or not, which is scalability. Are you in a place that you can scale your business? Because yes, I've had business owners come up to me and tell me and just like argue their case against ads. I'm like, I don't need ads. I get all my business from referrals. And then they proceed by saying, and I'm comfortable, I'm good, I don't want to grow anymore. And that's when I will tell them, then you don't need ads. If you are content and you truly don't want to grow and scale your business, then yeah, you may not want to run ads. I mean, that's understandable. But if it's the opposite and you're saying, I do want to grow and scale my business, I do believe that I have the infrastructure developed and I'm ready to scale, I just need the machine to make it happen, then that's when you want to run ads. You've got to make sure that all of that is put together first. Because if you give Meta bad data, let's say like you've created an email list of completely the wrong people, or you've attracted completely the wrong people to your social, and you hand that data over to Meta, it's not going to do its job right, because it's not going to learn the right people to actually target. So you need good, clean data as well.
Yeah. And I think that's what everything, like garbage in, garbage out, right? You can't expect anything to make magic there. You mentioned this a little bit, but I just want to touch on it again and make sure that people have a clear understanding. For people who are service providers, or like one-on-one service providers, right? Should these people be running ads, and what does that look like compared to people that are launching like courses or products or memberships and things like that? Like, where's that, what is that population fit into the conversation of ads?
Yeah. Okay. So, well, first off, if you are somebody who gets on sales calls and that's how you sell to your people, then absolutely run ads. And you should go from that for that same trajectory that I mentioned. A video view ads, build your email list with lead gen ads, and then ultimately send people to book a call ads. That'll work really well for you, because then, you're not asking, where is my next lead going to come from? You're controlling that. And that's the beauty of it. Once you start running these ads and you know what it will cost you to get someone to book a call with you, it's truly just a numbers game. And then all you have to do is ask yourself, okay, how many book calls do I want this month? And then you do the math, and that's how that will work. But again, I think that comes down to, if you're ready to scale and you do want to get more people into your world. And the thing that I will have service providers vocalize to me and say is a concern is that they can only take so many clients on at one time. Here's what I'll say on that too with ads. You can always be growing an audience. And I think it's a more powerful position to have a wait list and not be able to take on new clients than it is to move in feast or famine. Because I see a lot of service providers do that where, they get really heavy with work and then it dies off and then they think, oh my goodness, where's my next lead going to come from? So you can be using ads to build your business. So maybe you're going to use those video view ads to nurture and reach more people and, nurture them on social. And then also build your email list to nurture them. But then, you don't have to do the book a call ads until you're ready to do that. And it actually, I think, is going to work in your advantage because it's going to feel more elevated and, and desirable to your audience when you open it up and say, hey, I've got a spot open. I've got, X amount of book calls that I can take. Who wants in? So that's the way that I would do it. And I would use ads in that case.
I love that. Thanks for walking us through it. Because I think it's important for everybody to know that there is a place for you to do it the right way, even if you're not, selling to many or, selling courses and products. All right. You ready for your random question of the day from our card of decks here? All right. When you look back at your life so far, what's something you're surprised you did, chose, tried, or became?
Oh, great question. An entrepreneur. I was never supposed to go down this path, Nada. I resisted it. My dad was an entrepreneur and the '08 recession really impacted him. So I saw what it looks like when it doesn't work out. And so I was like, no, I'm going to take the safe path and went to school and thought I'd get a corporate job. And I don't know. I think we always land where we're supposed to. And I am beyond grateful that I took the opportunity and gave myself the chance to give this a try because I can't imagine my life any other way. I love it.
We're happy that you did too. We wouldn't have met you. So tell everybody where they can find you if they want to check the possibilities of maybe using ads for their business.
Yes. Well, I would love to chat it to anyone who has ad questions. And you can find me on Instagram and my handle is at Allison Harpole Coley. And I'd love to connect with you there.
We'll make sure that we link all of that in the show notes for you guys. Thank you so much, Allison, for the conversation and for diving into some of the many asked questions of why this doesn't work for me. We all need to know.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Nada. It's always a pleasure.
All right, we'll see you guys next week.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of the Accidental CEO podcast. Thanks for hanging out with us in the world where creativity and business strategy collide. I am Nada Salvatore, thrilled to have shared this time with you. Remember, every episode is a step closer to mastering the art of being an accidental CEO. So don't miss out. Hit subscribe, drop us a sweet review, and spread the word to your creative tribe. Your next big breakthrough could be just one episode away. Join us next time for more insights, laughs, and actionable tips. Keep pushing boundaries, dreaming big, and embracing the beautiful chaos of entrepreneurship. Here's to make magic happen in your business and beyond.